가사를 이야기다 심기 조조의 명nam장네 다 나와다 로다 decade 너로 장 삼다네 엔다 계과지래 다 전주 생기 진요 니신주지 예배이나 전주 손도 매번 여대버지 다 생기 띵네 애니 즉 전주 sem사디 삼로스타인도 전에 직সম로 배 떠나게 되하로 당연히 더 예배이나 다 심디니 지금 땡기 종류야 계야 지기나 아니 배요래 다다 땡기 종류 계야 지기야래 다 라마 예배체제 아니 라마 종류야 다 되게 개위디디 심기 유디디 세대베 타네 아니 라마 종류야 심기베이나 양식 소소 심리야 그게 어다 되등에 심기 쉬베인다 삼배 양식 파규래야로 자시 파규래야로 판도야래 저 진짜 인도잖아 다 되데 라마 종류 아니 심기야디 인다
We talked about it yesterday, and then we also talked about generating bodhicitta and doing the ceremony for it today. Of course, cultivation of bodhicitta takes time, and so what you need to do is think over and over the benefits of bodhicitta and the reasons to cultivate it and all this, and then you should, of course, it always takes time to cultivate bodhicitta, to develop it within yourself. It may take, of course, it has to be developed through days' efforts that you put, through days, months, and years, and then after having worked hard, then when you actually feel as some kind of have the feeling of bodhicitta, for bodhicitta rather close to you, then in other words, when you are on the onset, the bodhicitta starts to feel close, then you should take part in this kind of ceremony for generating bodhicitta. It can be done in front of statues, images of the Buddha, or it can be done with lamas. But when you do it with lamas, it helps you to feel that you have a witness for you, and it helps to be heedful about keeping the bodhicitta to keep up with it. So first of all, we will do generation of bodhicitta by reciting the praise, the verse which says, "I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha." Whatever merit I collect, whatever collections I create through generosity and so forth, may they become cause to become for me to become a Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings. So, when you say this verse, the first two lines show taking refuge. And so with regard to taking refuge, you are not taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha so that you would have a higher rebirth, nor are you taking refuge to reach mere nirvana, to become just an arhat, but you are taking refuge until you become enlightened, a Buddha.
다게 진소집에 처럼기 roller편지 사진으로 사디기 다 심기를 사야 다 긍들 멤버 심기야디 직디 참로 멤버 심기야인다 댓글에서는 아니 다게 다 대대비 청주 토야게 최도 아니 진버 당원 즉 최준송 서버 공부로 서버 된적이 단 너는 랑게 강 사셔봐 뒤도 참말로 아니 산지지 고만 토야 아니 듀르디오 쇼스 어다 간다 지 그게 깁치세 에레 산지지 고만 대 랑게 있는 것도 저기 있어 봐. 다 산지 최근도 터도디 산지가 살아요. 가서 다 산지 파과 대 산지체 긴dü체 밀로베 긴dü 차디요래 남주 숨도 체에 숨도 체윤도 로베 긴dü체 다 안데데 가서 담배 전전 좋아해 때문에 산지 야지 투부 취기 구시지 초전대 터도 칠 수는 시전이 밀로베 긴dü 차디요래 디 투기기 최디 다 최근조 터도도 차디요래 그래서 내가 이제잖아 간다베 터두기 얘는 산제 추 긴두스노 산제랑 살야도가 어다 랑게다 딩원도 저기 인사버지 저다 딩원도 제가 거바디에 돌라 펜실 슬라베인데 얘는 난게태도게 셈자 타다라 펜바도야 그 체도 얘는 알아 얘는 산제 추 타르투게 산제 추 긴두스부터 봐 가서다 대대로다 꼬바 말한게는 것도 저기 독신의 셈기어인다. 단 두번이 된 셈사들 해서 돌아 펜치스 상제로 쇼스로도 샹드되니 두배창 장주되니까 두버티 게임.
So, with regard to this verse of taking refuge in bodhicitta, the next two lines, which says, by the accumulations I create through generosity and so forth, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. So here, what you are saying is, whatever merit you gain through that, or you create through the practices of generosity, ethics, moral ethics, and patience, and so forth, the Bodhisattva practices, may they become a cause for you to become a Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings. And so here, when you take refuge in the three jewels, of course, usually when you talk about the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, the Sangha is referred to as those on the path, the trainee level, the Arya Bodhisattvas and so forth. But Dharma being the qualities that they have developed and the Buddhas have developed. But in this case, the ultimate refuge of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha is actually embodied in the Buddhas. When you become a Buddha, then you have reached the ultimate goal of enlightenment, and you have the ultimate Dharma, and you also are the ultimate Sangha. So in this way, you aspire to reach that goal of the ultimate Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, where these three are together, combined in one person, and for the benefit of all sentient beings. So those who are on your chair, just be seated on your chair, but those on the floor, please kneel on your right knee. So please repeat these lines. So I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the accumulations I create through generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By the accumulations I create through generosity and so forth, may I become Buddha to benefit all beings. And so at the end of this third repetition, when you say, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings, in your heart for heart, you should make this pledge that you will, the prayer that you, may you be able to keep this bodhicitta that you have generated. And of course, if possible, you should also think of not causing any decline to this bodhicitta that you are now generating here through this ritual ceremony. So aspiring bodhicitta, to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By the accumulations I create through generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Please sit down. So this is, with this you have done generation of aspiring bodhicitta. So if we stopped in the third chapter, so with these two verses, you are, according to Shantidevas' text, you are generating the aspiring bodhicitta as well as taking the bodhisattva vows. The verse starts with just as the previous two gathas, and then also the next verse, verse number 23 and 24. So actually for Buddhist monks, gelongs, bhikshus, they should take lunch at 12 o'clock. But today, because of this special ceremony that we can take exception here from the Vinaya rule. For example, at this time, although it's almost 12 now here in India, in Europe, the time would be around 9 o'clock. So let's think, the gelongs, let's think that we are in Europe right now and think that it's 9 o'clock. So if you are feeling hungry, then you should swallow saliva more. Or else you can think about taking concentration food. Perhaps it will help to overcome your hunger. It'll make you feel filled.
Oh yeah.
So we may finish around 12:30 for lunch.
다디 창시 타고 용야디 그들에서는 가서를 무시 럽지 러요리 심정신 요에서리 사실 럽송아 제네다 규라메나리아 상계 최 딘든 캄 청주 연대 틀레시네 전전 균송이래. 다 되게 상계 처 인두스야디 덕이 안다 상계에서 소셔나올라 저보다는 교수 전이 된지가 상계 가서 우리 거기 상계 고반데 다른 건도 자스전에다 또 소수 탑절 규배 군조수부 달려야 믹체 따디 제대로 접수로 와서 돼 말이야. 다 안다데 그림 귤라면 안에 막 그림 듄시에니 연배 그 전세 듄시에니 그림 디만 시에윤데 상계 최근들이 규결샤. 그래서 아다 로직나 중심에 상계 대송샵에 최다 대다 가서 대최 숭니 아니 코로나들어서 봐. 너나이니 안데 대빈주 주든 여대봤다 대다 그 천배 점된데 그 장장 디디 아니 상계 숭러 로브존체 아니 상계 그 숭리야 냠린 나니 라기 줄이야 최근조 줄이게 다 망셔디 택심 창주서 버스다래 근데 이르잖아요 택신기 최근조 줄이게 택신기 최근조 줄이 깨버다 뒤념도 랑균디지 가서 택신기 아니 가서 그게 택신기 긴도 장선 파봐 다 유두야래 저자와 디디 다 로규 나라 봐 중심배 상계 최 긴두데 셴다 달려야 다 교수식인스 달려 교수치하게 거든디 랑기 줄에 예배 캄 랑신지 회사 사시도가 다 캄스야디 심지 춘이디 셰요 초 가서 다캄 찍디 다내참 가시 셔도 왔다 내가 심지 춘이디 상시다 심지 춘이 되다 산 나란스 줄에 예배 심지 춘이 되다 산계 투주기 심지 투 춘이 니부터라 차라게 여 매버리 랑신지 땅잠지기 이 직벌에 내 인도선의 최기 인수 로직 와스 규라면 나는 티신이 매치당 전 송샤 되려죠 직교다
So, with regard to the verse, line which says, "Until may I become a Buddha, until in order to benefit all sentient beings," what you are saying is that. May I reach enlightenment for the benefit of sentient beings. And so here, as I explained yesterday, the term for enlightenment, Changchup, has two syllables in Tibetan. So the meaning is to purify all the negativities, overcoming and eliminating all the negativities and defilements, and then having the full knowledge or complete knowledge of everything. And therefore, the possibility to reach that kind of a result is, as I explained yesterday, on the one hand, is because of the very nature of the mind being clear light or luminosity and luminous, and therefore, with regard to this, now in the in Maitreya's Mahayana Uttara Tantra, he goes through this. He writes the text within the rubric of the seven, what are known as the seven Vajras, and which are the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, then the Buddha nature, and then enlightenment and enlightened qualities and enlightened activities. And so the sequence that is given here is with regard to the first three, the objects of refuge, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, of course, is from the point of view of the causal refuges, whereas what we had done earlier with regard in relation to the cultivating bodhicitta, generating bodhicitta, aspiring bodhicitta through the ceremony, ritual ceremony, was within the understanding that the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha are within one person who is fully enlightened, a Buddha, and which is taking the resultant on refuge as our focus. And whereas now here in in relation to the Mahayana Uttara Tantra, when it gives the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, the Buddha is the one who has given us the teachings. So these are causal refuges, meaning that the Buddha is the one who gave us a teaching, and then his Dharma meaning that those who have become Arya beings, especially the Bodhisattva Arya beings, who have this Dharma within them, the true realization and the true cessation within them, and then you have those who qualify with these dharmas as the Sangha, and so you have from this you have the causal refuges of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha in this way. And so, in the case of, for example, the Nalanda masters, whom we have visualized earlier, and other followers, Mahayana followers of the Buddha, and most of them, of course, were Mahayana practitioners and Mahayana Sanghas, and then within them they have developed the Mahayana Dharma. The true cessation, true path of the Mahayana path, and so in these you are taking refuge, or you have taken refuge, and the purpose of taking refuge in the Mahayana Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, the three jewels of Mahayana, is in order to fully realize the suchness that is within ourselves, in order to fully become an enlightened. And the reason why we can see the enlightenment is possible is if you think along the line that the suchness or the empty nature of the mind of us and the empty nature of the mind of the Buddhas are of same nature. There is no difference in terms of being empty. So in that case, they are of same identity.
벽에 데이트 타니다. 데이트나. 지금 그 자세 고음을 써야 쇼. 자. 최종 도와줄 대신 거래. 벽에 그들 고대로. 신 작설 전화. 나도 세. 나대네 아들 디저래. 나디 주인들 봐. 주인 야야 말이스. 취인사도 딱 봐봐. 다 취인기 심정신이 또 인상 아니 심딩이 좀 새로운 척이야. 심딩이 좀 새로운이보다 가르스러나 심딩이 좀디 심기 취니를 치료로 또 보진도잖아. 아니 심기 취니 지도하신도 또 인도잖아. 심기 취니를 치료로 또 벌어디 매우 차도. 자, 드네 인도잖아.什么다 써야 돼. 취기 인수 다 써야지. 세상가 심기 취니를 치료로 또 벌어디니 심기 취니 지도하신 또 벌어디기 너선너지를 치니. 아니 심기 취니를 치료로 또 벌어디 가르잖아. 심기 취기 인수 다 봤어야 써요. 고소. 다데네 산제의 사이 구송투 연대선이 디디 두지처 봐. 다 산제의 연대 મં구진 두버체디 이내 두지 런싱기 산제기다 산제의 사이 처 먹고도 봐. 디디 두지 인자 규득견을 때네 겨걸 봐. 봐. 자, 디네 인도산에 다 제부 산제기 구송투 양나 아니 가서 보게 다리 딘데 구송 투송부터 뒤제 인도산에 딘 줍지기 다 규지 고글와 다 졸려야 녀랭기 규지 다 세지세야 안다 돈도 따와서 그래서 저게 제일 물어봤다 다 거래 녀랭기 규지 다 상식당 거 지리셔발이야 통마다 타면 매세 가래슬럼나 셰바 세리점게 등이기 셰바디 귤에니 기베 셰바 귤로야지 아주 통구도 와 용구도 와 귤기 여버디기 가르다 왔다 말씀나 귤로 떼버디 땡겨와 자상가 귤에 등이기 취지는 유진이 임버시다 귤로 때는 중앙이 뭐지 셰도야 다 드네 인도산에 셰버디 그 줄을 때는 영원디 세버봐 다 줄때려야 현지시진 요아래 변한 거는 레버도 차셔나 미 레버디 미 셰베 현지신 식도 와 일류 현지신 식도 와 레지다 코레 넬린치 등에디 셰버 코르도 릭 라진 거로 넬린스르디 두디 데부디 모르 중에지 거로 자자 가면 레버디 데 펜부 숙진으로 숙진지기 애니 세점 지 릭점 뇽점 그 모르 줄토야 믿어가 배나 숙진기 쉬지면이나 뒤년링 두디 셰베 제도 말과 야 코르 릭투버 지 숙진시 고도 와 자 드네 인도산에 딕당을 시루로 다고 가설로다 춘이고 살더다 자 드네 인도산에 다고 셰베지기 그 넬링이 두들래 이집이 셰베지 고여 인도산에 아니 계시 셈로 토마시 샤나 셰벌로 토마시 샤나 셈 기지 당부디 아니 랑도 릭미트베 줄이게 봐 되고 다 디션에 하장 태도 자 디리 인도산에 다 셈로 링저 토마 요마리 시요 다가는 신기 셈 내발라 명점 릭점디 지명오로 요마로 저서 세점 릭점디 지명오 매번 인도산에 델라 객시민도가 랑 내발라 객싱민도가 친절로로 이나 로디 윤내알이야 그디 객시 그다음 개진 친지 말로 로지 용기하러 다 세점 릭점 델라 그 독촉 그 개진민도가 자 디리 인도산에 셈 그땐 그 쯤어 다야요. 가려서 놓고 그 개진 숙청부요. 세점 릭섬 들라 개진 매번 인도산에 세점 릭섬 때 가야 그 좀zem도 봐. 자, 근데 인도산에 산제네 쉐바 못은 때야지. 저자 저라마에 가서 대박하시기 이네 상면이 안 된 것도 제도 리포트 균시 가서 기저 없으면 하시리 리포트 균시 해야 되더라. 상르시부 담배이나 더서 믿어요. 된 고블로 주기 가서야 돼. 리포트 주면 안 쓰요. 자들이 뭐 인도산에 자들이 인도 삼라 타마에 매자. 그래서 자 다든든데 다 셈디 간에 다 이기 산제지 구승 투승 주야기 녀링 지고르다. 오브시베 루무도 와. 그러다 셰바라고 디디 루무도 와. 다 셰바 차라체. 다 사운드베 금네 송샤게 셰바 차라마 체인드자네. 다 셰바 낭지 톱송비. 셰바 동바시等니 동바시 써야 되다. 루브르 체기 동바 동바. 자 샹동 상当时就有的。루브르 체기 동바. 다 고래 원이 주변 동하다. 원이 주변 동. 데이터라 루브르 체기 동. 디샹동 고아지 되기도 봐. 그래서 다 드르르 동바들로 동바 탕보, 동바 니버, 동바 숨바, 동바 시버신. 다 동바 시버디 탐제 동바 외세신. 다섬 차셔도 돼. 저 산제사는 중에게 로드 돼. 아주 유타다 여대버디. 다다 문주 민도가 루브르 시버디 게임도잖아요. 용을 현지집에 외세디 박라샤베 소리 때도 봐. 다 용을 현지집에 외세 그 리셋에 캡도 요래. 이내 거라 시버코라 랑스버 없이고 공문주도 안 되게요. 뭐 문주도 안 돼. 가서 어떤 것도 용 박라샤 때도 봐. 저서 왔다 다 용을 현지집에 외세 뒤 땡네 산지기 군주야. 산지기 숭주야. 산지기 투주야 돼. 용을 현지집에 외세 때네. 다 사운드에 겁네. 드시 쉬우쉬우 사고 그러셔. 자, 드리 인도산은 공부를 주기 애네 르메나리아 시 구순 세하게 다녀자인 거야. 나도 실 랑셔서 구순 시아리. 애네 람지 구순. 이 구순 생이가 쓰고 말봐. 이내단 데뷔 구순보다 구순 그 주칭해지다. 구순보다 제수 틈버지기 그 가서 되게 생이를 지어야 되는지. 딘데를 공부하시니 아니 시 구숨, 람지 구숨, 데뷔 구숨, 시 구숨래 니샤 축지가 원도시가 구숨 샤용도. 나다디 규라메 다 규라메 디시닝부스 송샤디 나로라 kusum 주지 내린 사변지 차세야지아래. 어다 디테일 삼등도. 저다 디디지 여be 인도산에 가라서 줄이야. 심 단동. 에네 심 차라 체 인도산에 심 참여 때문에 kusum 주야게 내린 사변지 차지 랑체서 여대와. 어다 디가라 다다도 상계 추 긴두 규제부 추도 여대와 디디기다 진럽 죽서도 될 죽이야. 될 죽이야 가르스는 진럽 쉐베 식디 된다디 진시버 시진 다 느버지 다 느버되기 가르치고 있으려면 있나 럽시버디 줄외들 자 근데 인도산에 초승기 시진기 랑기 유 마타와디 애니 유 타고 줄여나들라 진럽스기 하래 그래서 소수 시규를 요약하게 해봐 애니 마시면 진럽 쉬스 진럽 탑사 할게 돼요 말해 초승 그 시진디 해지신이래. 뒤또 진로 용서디 소스 셈을 요태인잖아요. 애니 진로 샀다 도신 거야. 자, 근데 인도 다당 가란주 심규 주변이기 상황도 요den에 주민이 칭대봐. 딘데기가 셈 마타버디 셈 참을 때는 구승루비하게 누버지어봐 이르잖아요. 애니 심지 대권원이 통행 권에 심지 대권원이 뭐도 기회 권에 애니 심지 심지가 좀 다 이르잖아요. 애니 구승 주야게 느버지더버디 르베르베야 세체 애니 럼디고 걸려야 성수 로치고 뭐마치 주용도 다 대기야 르르야 치니 애니 데뷔 성수 로치고 용이야 다당 아주 시 내걸 신도 저 육매 롱싱부 때문에 샤윤도 뭐지 버버 나고 뭐이미르도 독세 쳐봐도 뭐이미르도 그래서 나가서 어통디 디간을 내는 거요 랑당 디간 내기도 그래서 인도산에 시 류가 예수 신도 차여가는 사람들이 뭐지 버려도 그래서 디니 람지 오를 게 인도산에 람지 내걸이야 아니 람디 구스미 게르메지 성숨 로치고 지기 구스미 게르메지 성숨 예메지 레이고도 어다 디균도 신 이는 산적 살이야 밀로 송juk 살이야 아니 가쇼래 다 간다베 증리가 빵바타다로 빵인도 자네 다 딘딘데 성송 로지고디 이는 산적세 성송 로지고 처리야 저도와 저다 딘디 인도 안다 산제 추 긴두 감 신 지금 죽서듯이 딘데 감디 주마타다 타괴 내걸로 정죽세 감 정죽 대대비 정죽도 제일도 자네 랑도 탑에 연대 실제수집에 틀에 신 어디 최등부디 독 상로스담이나 방주고 싶시도 지 고소해 럽스 교다다 럽스 교 배시다 측을 실사학상 못는 럽스 교다
And so on the one hand, as I said earlier, the mind, the suchness or the empty nature of the mind of ours and the empty nature of the mind of Buddhas, there is no difference between these two, being the nature of emptiness. And because of the mind being empty, because the mind is empty of intrinsic existence, we can say that the defilements that are within our mind stream can be eliminated and uprooted. So when we talk about elimination or overcoming the defilements, dispelling the defilements, what happens there is as you meditate on the emptiness of your mind, principally, what happens is, and you develop your path, your experience further and further, then what happens actually is that the defilements at some point ceases. And where do the defilements cease is, well, it ceases into or within this suchness or the reality of the mind itself. And so there you reach the called the purified state of the mind. And so when you see that the suchness or the empty nature of the mind and meditate on that, then the defilements actually dissolve or disappear or dissolve into that suchness, and then you are purified of the negativities. And then when we talk about purification here, and attaining, when you purify the negativities, then you develop the qualities, the positive qualities of the Sangha and the Buddhas. And so in the case of the Buddhas, of course there are many of the qualities of the Buddha which are not composite phenomena as such, compounded phenomena or composite phenomena, but then there are many qualities of the Buddhas which are composite phenomena or compounded phenomena, which means that they are dependent on causes and conditions. So the resultant goal of Buddhahood, for example, within the Buddhas, then you have the Buddha's body, speech, and mind are compounded phenomena. And because it's compounded, they are compounded phenomena, they need causes and conditions. So that to attain the resultant Buddhahood, where you have the holy Buddha's body, speech, and mind, and which need causes, and then. Regarding the mind of the Buddha, what happens is we have the very basic nature of the mind is that it is it has the nature of cognizance and cognitive nature and clarity. And even in the case of the Buddha's mind, which has this clarity and awareness nature, and what this shows, and then this the clarity and the clear and aware nature of the mind of the Buddha also changes. And when it goes through changes, moment to moment change, what this shows is that it has come from causes and conditions. And so, and because of that, in order to reach that state of mind, that mind of a Buddha, of course, you need a consciousness, which is a consciousness. You need a substantial cause, which cannot be a matter, but it must be consciousness. So for consciousness to arise, it must have a substantial cause, which is consciousness, and matter cannot be substantial cause of mind as such. And because consciousness needs this consciousness as its substantial cause, therefore, if you were to try to see whether the mind or the consciousness that we have now has any beginning or not, of course, if you try to say there is a beginning to the mind, then you would have to say that something which is not a mind or consciousness has actually become a mind and has served as its substantial cause, which means the mind would have a beginning. But then the mind has no substantial cause, which is not a mind has no substantial cause, which is a matter as such, but it must be a consciousness. Therefore, there is no beginning to the mind as such. And the mere clarity and cognitive nature of the mind, of course, has its course, and so there is nothing which can actually put an end to that nature of the mind, the cognitive and clarity nature of the mind at all. There's nothing which can actually serve as an antidote to put an end to this clarity and cognitive nature of the mind. And although the defilements that are on the mind, so what you understand here is the nature of the mind, the clarity and cognitive nature of the mind cannot be put to an end by any antidote, but then the defilements can be completely removed from the mind, and so because they are adventitious, and therefore the consciousness as such has no discontinuity. It does not discontinue. Even when you reach Buddhahood, the mind or the consciousness is still there. And so, although the defilements are gone when you reach there, but then it's not like what the Vaibhashikas say. One school of sub-school of Vaibhashikas say that when you reach called the Arhatship, which is to say the Arhatship without any residue, or nirvana without residue, then the mind discontinued from then on. But this is not the case here. And so with regard to the body, speech, and mind of a Buddha, of course, they have their own substantial causes. Now, when it comes to substantial cause of the body, speech, and mind of a Buddha, of course, it must be there while the Buddhas were sentient beings like us. When we become Buddha, of course, we as sentient beings have our body, speech, and mind. But then the body, speech, and mind of a Buddha is such that they come from not the gross or the coarse body, speech, and mind that we have, but then nor the subtler ones, but the subtlest body, speech, and mind that we have become the body, speech, and mind of a Buddha. And so this is called clearly demonstrated in the presentation of the path or experience of in Guhya Samaja Tantra, where it talks about the four empty states. So here, of course, the mind, the basic nature of the mind is that it has cognitive nature, and it is cognitive, and it is also luminous. But then there is also the mind is empty of inherent existence as such. But then here, when we talk about the four empties, it's not just that emptiness of inherent existence of the mind, but what the mind is during these four empty states, what is the mind is empty of is adventitious phenomena. And so the adventitious defilements which are on the mind, and so when the mind is totally free from all these, which comes at the end at the fourth empty state, then on the basis of that we explain the Buddhahood is the possibility of Buddhahood. And so the innate clear light mind, or the consciousness, on the basis of that, then the Buddhahood is explained, which you actualize when you go through the dissolution process. Then you actualize these four empties, and at the end of that, the fourth empty state, the very subtle innate clear light or luminous mind manifests, and then on the basis of that, Guhyasamaja, the system, which is marvelous, explains how we can attain the three Buddha bodies, and also on the basis of the possibility of attaining the three the Buddha bodies, then it also makes presentation of the Buddha bodies within the context of with reference to the basis level and the path level as well. Although the three bodies which are explained in the context of the basis and the path are not the actual resultant of the three Buddha bodies, but they are something which have some resemblance to those three Buddha bodies at the resultant state. And so what according to Guhyasamaja Tantra is explained is that we have this basic substance or the potential, which is the substantial or factor, which is like a seed for the three Buddha bodies. And so because of this, then we can say that it is said that the blessings from the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha can work in us. And so when we talk about invoking blessings of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, who are the causal refuges for us, what has to happen is the causal refuges, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, in who are separate from us, who are different from us, like the Buddha, Shakyamuni, and so forth, and they serve as a contributing factor for us to make transformation within ourselves. So in order for this transformation to happen within yourself through the blessings, what has to happen, what you must have is the basic potential, the seed for the Buddha bodies, and so that the blessings can work within us. So in this way, we have the seed for transformation within us, and this is kind of helped by the blessings of the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And so with this subtlest mind, what happens is when you train your mind on the path, you see the very subtle, with the very subtle mind, the innate clear light mind. Then you see the suchness of your own mind, and then through that realization, then you gradually purify the negativities and defilements that are within your mind, and this in turn, the very subtle mind manifests called further and further, and then you reach the total manifestation of the full potential of this the subtle innate clear light mind, and you become a Buddha. And so the subtlest body, speech, and mind that are within us develop further and further, and then you, on the path level, on the trainee level, you have the state where your body, speech, and mind are sort of one taste, and at the trainee level, one taste, and then when you push further in your path, finally you become a Buddha, where the body, speech, and mind are all fully of one taste. And so here, what His Holiness was saying was that through the blessings of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, in whom we take refuge, the causal refuges, then having received the blessings in our mind stream, that because of having this Buddha nature that is within ourselves, then we develop the path and reach Buddhahood, enlightenment. And then when you reach there, you have the qualities, Buddha qualities, and you act in engage in the Buddha activities.
다시나 다와 상하가 취해야 돼. 다와 semchara yawachen. 데 돌람다 nga 기도하면 그들로 송야 말해. 다든가 라메 그들로 송야 래. 무슨 그지로 취해야 돼. 지 산지지 고바 써야 돼. 아니 구시더니 산지 고바 써야 돼다 또 사무스탄인데 디간이야 토이고도 와. 저들이 인도산에 다 대대비다 상하 도시 대괴치 다 될래야 아니 다 응원주님마 지 다 근데 변주주등兄弟的 선인사야마다 간다 닝마 거기 사자 견데 저는 참을로다兄弟的 집을 찾아야 돼. 달람이 야고 되어 있는兄弟 삼아 집을 두고 가래. 그래서 다 잡아디 나 그도네 에노 사모한테 님마사지 내용도 와. 쟤네다 먼저 님말이야 아니 rinju kama ta jiri jurago ta rinju kama ene niju dharma ene shindu so tanang share ta di tanang chogore ta tanang chogodi 고상가바 전부 리아다 tanang manguji 용되기도 와 긴두 자절래 고로 숨쉬 그도도 안에 tanang 시부 용되기도 와 긴두 두어 차샤네 된대기다 학벨하이 시시 당나들이 용되기요 아래 얘는 수남자조 용되기도 와 저나데 아니 군두 고고말레 예배소시도 패지디 지 가서 남자나리 도서 열라 디 예배소시도 자자가 다 야왕의 명예배식을 딘데게 학발하에 다나서 천에 매버든 말해. 군지 주시면 돼. 깨미도다. 미도디 양에 점어제세. 군지 주시면 다나도 지에 미도디 이내 깨다 지신 있으게야. 진짜 어디 야왕가 봤네 마 충분히.
So, in regard to sacred mantrayana, what is present is the difference. It makes distinction between the coarse and subtle mind and subtle body and so forth, and which is not something which is done in sutrayana, but only in tantrayana, and within tantra, particularly the highest yoga tantra. And then, and on the basis of this subtle mind and body, then the subtlest body and mind, then the highest yoga tantra also gives explanation of the four Buddha bodies, how we attain the four Buddha bodies, and all the texts that we study in Tibetan Buddhist monastic institutions, written by the 17 Nalanda masters. Of course, there is no difference between the Sarma and Nyingma traditions, the old and the new and old translation schools that we actually talk about within the context of Tibetan Buddhism. But when it comes to, particularly in it comes to the tantric teachings, then the teachings, the tantric teachings that were translated before in the beginning, 8th century and so forth, they were considered and are considered as the Nyingma or the old translation school, and then within which there is the distinct lineage of the Kama, and then the close near lineage of the Dharma, and then the profound visionary lineage of the visionary and the pure visionary teachings of the profound pure visionary teachings. And then out of these three within the Nyingma tradition, the particular initiation that we are going to do comes within the pure visionary circle of teachings. And the particular visionary teaching that we are going to deal with here is with this medicine Buddha initiation had come to the fifth Dalai Lama. So fifth Dalai Lama had many visions of deities and gurus and so forth. And then the second Dalai Lama also seems to, the Genrin Gyatso seems to have had many visions of deities and lamas, even when he was 3 or 4 years old. So since then, and then the third Dalai Lama and the 13th Dalai Lama also seems to have had many many visions. But then of all the Dalai Lamas until now, it is only the 14th Dalai Lama, although despite bearing the name Dalai Lama, it is only the 14th Dalai Lama who has no vision at all. But then I usually jokingly say that although I have no visions of deity and so forth, but then I am, of all the 14 Dalai Lamas, I am the most popular one. And so this particular initiation of medicine Buddha comes from the visionary teachings of the fifth Dalai Lama.
윤로래 다 되게 간다 릭다 지기 에네 간다 타니 로베 송죽슬로인데 다 성수로지고 직다 rinjekyun sanjik salyan zhodengdi, ene songchu katune yongdegi yore. Ba, so lobe songchu katune da yongdegi yore. Sa dine yinba yindu zane, anda de, ene nga jik chinlo chebe katule, tamebe nangshin sani, ene donyi dobe sunol har shang, dine jiki gopsu baba da, lamae donyi gombo ngondun zhobe tone, da kazi tudu jik dongba yinga da samdani, dine donyi dobe sunol dini, 아니 멜라리아 샤데바치 네이트 상다 아 사딘지 인도 차란즈 다안데 라마디 괴베고네 아니 디 사제 멜라 딘지리 여 사바시 성수 로지베다 멜라 딘지 여 사바시체 아니 디 중에다 친로 쉬어야다
And so, sacred mantra yana, we talk about the subtle, the one taste of the body, speech, and mind when you stage Buddhahood. But then in the lower tantra sets, there's no distinction between coarse and subtle mind as such, but which is done in the highest yoga tantra. Despite that, in the lower tantras, what you do visualize is yourself as deities, and so you generate yourself into a deity. So when you do this generation of yourself as a deity, then how you do it is first you meditate on emptiness and dissolve everything into emptiness, and with the mind, the wisdom of emptiness, the apprehended object of the wisdom of emptiness arises in the form of a deity. And so that's how you generate yourself into a deity in the deity yoga practice, tantric practice, even the lower tantras. And although, of course, when you visualize yourself as a deity, arising into a deity from within this meditation on emptiness, the mind wisdom of emptiness, at this stage, of course, although there is this imagination or the visualization of yourself as a deity, but then you are not an actual deity as such. And this happens at this stage in imagination and visualization. And but then when you push further and further in this practice of deity yoga, then of course in the highest yoga tantra, you go through the stages of development of body isolation, physical isolation, and then mental isolation and so forth. And when you reach that of illusory body, the state of illusory body, then actually you are able to reach or experience the one taste of body, speech, and mind. Which is to say that you also this happens when you attain what is known as the Trini level reunion. That this one taste of body, speech, and mind happens, and so then, therefore, during this blessing that you are going to receive of the medicine Buddha, of course, even at this stage, in order to reach that kind of the one taste of body, speech, and mind, at the Trini level union, you have to practice the path from now on, and then, therefore, when you receive the blessings, what you do is you dissolve the ordinary perception and conception of yourself, and then you arise into a deity. And so even with regard to me as the Lama who is giving you the blessings, I try my best to visualize myself as the deity, and which has these three: body, speech, and mind in one taste. And so you should imagine me as the Buddha, medicine Buddha, who has this the body, speech, and mind as one taste, and receive the blessings. So this is a mandala offering requesting the blessings from the Guru. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru and four continents and sun and the moon. I imagine this as Buddha filled and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land.
최선의 발전 내봐서 우리 배만 주는로 소원을 삼고 튼준으로 진지로 혹시 삼고 튼준으로 진지 너래다 달로만은 이제 달에 원고 진지로 그래서 다 간다 매래친로 나로나 sen다 섬내 소화돼 버려.
So think that you have think of making your fervent prayer and request to the Guru to give the blessing of medicine.
매래전한 톱니 나서 너그 말을 삼았는데 가사한테 저 증해지기 뒤주. 근데 상당히 말다. 저 증해 거를 레베. 냐라 매래전한 등 라마 거를 내가 차려 그랬어. 이랬어 레베.
And so, after receiving this blessing of the Medicine Buddha by Shajir Guru, Medicine Buddha, don't think that all your sicknesses and diseases will go away. This is not be the case. Yesterday, I had an interview, and the interviewer asked, will this be the case? And will people be cured of all their diseases? I said, first of all, the Lama himself who's going to give it is sick. And so, you should not think. So, of course, I have done the retreat of Medicine Buddha and also do this prayer, but I still become sick. But then... so if you ask if there, in that case, is there no reason why the Medicine Buddha initiation is given? Of course, there is a purpose for that. If you having received the initiation, then if you do retreat and recite the mantra of Medicine Buddha, it can help to avert sicknesses and also to recover from sicknesses quickly. So it says in the ritual to do the practice of refuge and bodhicitta. So let's read the two verses from Bodhisattva Avatara on page 22 and page 23. Verse number 23 and 24. So please kneel on your right knee, those who are on the floor. Just as the previous Sugatas gave birth to. So let's repeat it.
전주스별로 다른 신나바다 다장로라 편들도 전주스는 끼지 전주스별로 무엇인도 라버기스 전주도 셈 기기인 세네 되게 말씀 있게 차려와 다디 양자식 셔버리 아니 전주스별로 무엇인도 라버기스 되게다 전주스별로 친루 다 냠내차 되게 다 라린 계긴 사지 다 되게 라린 계야 돼 지 기부도 전에 라린 계 양치 뭐지고 예배도 라리마게 매배체 다 소소 수어는 신치기다 네 자치부지 지체 당에 라린게 내 탐제샤를 살다 그렇지 되게 신수도 또 벗어났다 때
And so we'll recite these two verses, verse number 23 and 24 on page 22 and 23, three times. And with regard to these verses, you say, it says, just as the previous Sugatas gave birth to awakening mind, and just as they have successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise, for the sake of all that lives, I give birth to an awakening mind. So this is the aspiring bodhicitta, which we have done earlier, we have generated earlier. And then next two lines say that you are going to practice the bodhisattva practices and engage in the bodhisattva practices, including the six perfections. And then what you have to feel is that you will continue to practice and do the bodhisattva practices, whether you are happy or unhappy, and not when you are happy and not doing so when you are unhappy.
센데 심지 미녀비교 시 이거요. 되네 침을 심지 미녀비교 아니 나고 추시방 갈비 추시냐서 람바스다 디디 사드는데 셈상부체 술레 비게 네바 마치야 다데 싸웠더래. 얘는 진실로 동바송디 저동 접게 이제 시시로 다 뒤에 싸워도 나가르샤. 소수다 자청부지야. 디지니 아니 샹을 비게 남에 도야로 샹을 비게 지금 다 샹디캐도 사서 다 뒷마치를 채채. 가다 랑도 이제 도면 다 자와래. 자 드리인도 다 럽지기 몽구샤요 때 드닝부디 다 뒤단에 송어지 네 샹을야 판판 버식도 삼버지 샹은 내가 나야 메시 삼버지 다디 쪼르 진수를 럽지 쪼드 들으셔.
And so with regard to the practice having taken the Bodhisattva vows, then what you actually engage in is not to cause decline to the Bodhisattva vows, and in this life and in the next lives, by avoiding the four black dharmas, black practices, and cultivating the four white practices. And the essence of Bodhisattva vows is to work for the sentient beings, and to think of benefiting others and not being carried away by selfish motive at all. Although there are those of the 18 root downfalls and the 46 secondary transgressions within the Bodhisattva vows, but the essence is to think of benefiting other sentient beings alone and not to cause any harm to them at all. So this has to be your pledge. And so with this, please repeat. Just as the previous Sugatas gave birth to an awakening mind, and just as they successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the sake of all that lives do I give birth to an awakening mind, and likewise shall I too successively follow the practices. Just as the previous Sugatas gave birth to an awakening mind, and just as they successively dwelled in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the sake of all that lives do I give birth to an awakening mind, and likewise shall I too successively follow the practices. Just as the previous Sugatas gave birth to an awakening mind, and just as they successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the sake of all that lives do I give birth to an awakening mind, and likewise shall I too successively follow the practices. Please sit down. And continue reading the rest of the third chapter. In order to further increase it from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized an awakening mind in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit, having well obtained this human existence. I've been born in the family of Buddha, and now am one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise, by some coincidence, an awakening mind has been born within me. It is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereign of death. It is an inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. It is the tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is the universal universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torments of disturbing conceptions. It is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It is the quintessential butter from the churning of the milk of Dharma for all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the bounties of happiness. This will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful.
Yeah.
So now, next. So those of you who have received full-fledged initiations before, you may now visualize, transforming yourself into medicine Buddha. But those of you who have not received any initiation before, full-fledged initiation, not just Jenangs or permission initiation, but for you, you have to visualize medicine Buddha on your crown, sitting on your crown. So
당연히 하기벌이야 되길래야 돼 돈이 공부를 와 당연히 장사물로 삼을 돈다 왜 장사나 Russians 러비나 Russians 하지 나 Russians 하지 나도 거도 삼을 돈다
And so in order to generate yourself into a deity, you have to first of all meditate on emptiness, as I explained earlier. And so with regard to meditation on emptiness, of course you think of yourself as Russian. So just check where this Russian is. So you think of yourself as Russian or whatever country, but the body is not you. Your body is not you. So then you have to check whether this I is within the mind or consciousness or not. So the I cannot be the sensory consciousnesses, the five senses, sensory consciousness, because if it were the case, then you would have to say that you do not exist when you are deeply asleep. Then you have to consider whether the mental consciousness is I. But then when you faint, when you become unconscious, there is no mental consciousness. So then, because there is no mental consciousness, you would have to say, I wasn't there. But that's not the case. You will not be able to say, I wasn't, I didn't exist. And then if you ask whether the subtle mind at the time of death, the subtle clear light at that stage, is the mind or not. So we can talk about the innate clear light nature of clear light mind being in dormant state or in a manifest state, but then you will not talk about I as being dormant or manifest as such. You will not make this distinction in the I.
이거 따라하려면 더 쓰그러다. 그냥 따라하면 통보를. 어느 전 따라하면 류 통보를 못 하고 따라하면 거도.
So you think that when you look at me, you see the Dalai Lama, but then actually what you see is my body and not the Dalai Lama. You will not see the Dalai Lama's mind. But you may be able to judge that the Dalai Lama is thinking such and such from his expressions or his what he says. You may be able to infer the thoughts that go on in the Dalai Lama. So if you ask the body, speech, and the mind of the Dalai Lama, who actually possesses this body, speech, and mind of the Dalai Lama, of course you'll say the Dalai Lama owns it. But then where is the Dalai Lama? Of course, you can also talk about the body, speech, and the mind of the Buddha being the Buddha possessing his body, speech, and mind. But then, regarding the Buddha himself, what he is, of course, you will not be able to find him either.
ngai lu ngai semsharo ane phungbudu jigda phungbudu tadesaro dusen zayo bayina chana niya medebshi.
And so in Chandrakirti's Madhyamaka Avatara, it goes through the sevenfold reasoning and says when you check something through these sevenfold reasonings, then what the yogi finds is that the person does not exist. But then, if you ask whether the yogi does not exist, does or does not exist, of course, he does exist, because there he has his activities and so forth.
Yabajin, the tendere, you touch it. Got that and money we could do that, Town Yomaris Lona, and that Hajan Tadwood. That doesn't say in Yomar de Ine, Maba Maris and that. Logo. Down a condition of Luna, Minguangi give a child. So that Minguangi years some says some diggy, Minguangi Yobo to 20 million about the shame. So today you understand that 20 million to be don't. There's she don't said she got that. Money to be don't said.
And so the person exists, but then if you were to search for the person within the psychophysical aggregates, you will not be able to find anything that you can point to as the person as such. And in that case, when you say, if you say when doing such analysis, when the person is found, of course you will not still say that the person does not exist as such. But then the person does exist. But the way he exists or she exists is merely by way of merely by nominally, and not, which means that the person does not exist objectively. So the emptiness of having any kind of independent objective existence is what we come to the conclusion when we say the person does exist, but not in the way it appears.
차단 걸로 해야 돼. 나를 이동 낭체 들차. 나를 이동 명원아 당체. 다 들이 나를 생각하고 봐봐 자주다나 니야메도 시도가. 자다 차단 계류산에 나를 이동을 나를 팬다도 ስለ부터는 나한테 그러시도가. 숙청부시도가. 딱고 봐봐 가sam다는 나한테 매들 시차요. 저다 들이 인도 nga mindu samba chi nga nawa na shi mindu samba chen denge ge lo digi nga la yi dong wa da nga la yi du me wa sa ko la shu ma shu cha yu do
And so when you become attached or angry at others, what happens is you actually become attached to someone because that person or that thing becomes seems attractive, appears attractive to you, pleasing to you, and therefore you become attached to them. On the other hand, because something or someone become you feel aversion to them, therefore you feel your anger or hatred towards them. But then, having developed these emotions, when you think about so in relation to yourself you become attached or angry, but then when you think about this I to whom someone becomes attractive or aversion, when you try to think about it, you will not be able to find it. So then, and in this case, what appears as being you, I mean, is not the way you are, and therefore, what this means is that you do not have any independent, objective existence. So meditate on that. That you are devoid of any objective existence. That you do not exist the way you appear to yourself.
어머 숨바와 주도 사와다 뭐 숨바와 주도 항 동반이 도죠. 다 된대.
Everything becomes
나 민도
empty.
삼네. 나 나와는 시 민도 삼네 전댕에게 로티니. 아니
So this mind which is absorbed in emptiness.
대 용수 주발래. 아니 매라를 계속 매라를 줄수 삼아지.
So this mind which is absorbed in emptiness, thinking that I do not exist the way I appear to me, now imagine that it transforms into a home syllable, and that home syllable in turns transforming into yourself as medicine Buddha.
마법스도 말배 말배. 제가 매래 년저 뒤에 속부 매래 제제 년저 마법스도.
And so the medicine Buddha the painting in the hall on the left side has very red ears, and so it seems this medicine Buddha is Mongolian medicine Buddha because of this red ear. Ulan Bator and Ulan, the name Ulan refers to redness.
왕 톱용은 뒤뒤다 소소소이니 매라지를 줄수 삼바체 이니 왕만 톱을 랑게 고역강이야 이니 매라지를 줄수 삼바체야.
So those of you, as explained earlier, those of you who have received full-fledged initiations, now visualize yourself as medicine Buddha, and those who have not received full-fledged initiations before, visualize or imagine medicine Buddha sitting on your crown. So next is showering of the blessings. So imagine that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas from their natural abodes are invoked, and then they come forth in the form of medicine Buddha and dissolves into you, thereby blessing you.
Oh yeah, that looks it. I didn't call this one. Chin up. 다 다르셔. 맨게도 깨발로 진 업딘지. 다 되네 품바. 다 품베 나리야. 이게 되게 주베 그돌이야. 뒤지 매라 깨디어 되나리야. 다 되네. 된저기 품베 난게 any Pumbenalia Mela Yedeva Digi Chag Fungsi any chai yebe urure dongonam shuba cha yembe fungsinale and mene so yedeva da telema duji gyunshuni kyanandala ma duji chuyung ma lutamje pa du any lutamje kang any tomine sabe digita any jig needed to take pa taso sabachia.
So in the vase that is held in the hands of the monk, the nectar is medicine Buddha is visualized and generated, and so with this vase, when you should imagine that you receive the blessings, and thereby with this blessing, you're purified of your negativities.
추점이야 여러 말에. 알레. 지다다 bazam지는 하는지는 그러다 하여는 나와야지 나 저요. 아마 저한테는 그 인가 저 사마이시는 넘 방어도 배가 그러는 알아서 좀 배가 넘 방어도 배가 넘 방어도 배가 배가 넘 방어도 배가 넘 방어도 배가 알아서 배가 넘 방어도 배가 알아서 배가 숨은 거 돼서 다 다간지기도. 이집이 공주고 말이야. 대다라 취왕구에 아니 취를 야를 넣어래 랑기 지우로 아니 그다 다시 나타에 우제 중국도 진짜 미집에 우제샤 미집에 우제.
So with this blessing that you have received, the water, the nectar flows into you and then fills up your body and overflows on your crown, which transforms into Akshobhya. So you're crowned with Akshobhya as the lord of the lineage. And then imagine that from the mid-eyebrow of Medicine Buddha, rays of light come forth, and this purifies your negativities of your body, and you receive the blessing of the body of Medicine Buddha.
Bendu ya de gui jinji lo omsom no bango de bega ko no za da bega no sumun ga de so ka ya albi ke zo om.
Вы представляете, что подобие медицины исходит из медицины в порождении пространства между собой, входит в и тем самым дает благословение тела медицины.
Там меле сунга de джимбер туне 아니 야 멜레 짐번에 애니 숭아 영주서 빠도 그 줄이 전화로 왔는데 짐벌을 템데 나 치지로서 냐바나쇼.
And then imagine that the mantra of the Medicine Buddha is touched on your on your throat, and then with that receive the blessing. Think of receiving the blessing of the speech of Medicine Buddha.
또야. 다들 홍이 아니 든지 멜레 투게 홍레 에 이게 홍이 뭐뭐 투지 사베 라다 홍이 뭐뭐 빠도 버춘데 로마는 닝걸마 팀체 아니 이 친구로서 냐바나
And so, from the home syllable, which is the seed syllable of Medicine Buddha, the heart of representing the heart of Medicine Buddha, think that rays of light come forth and it dissolves into your heart, thereby blessing your heart with the blessing of the mind of the Medicine Buddha.
아니 대원네 매래 대원네 anyways 흉시 단디샤 다 흉시 신nem 다 왜도 흉시 되게 나발로 중네 다 왜서 서버 나발로 중데 그러면 대화 팀데 아니 연댕 그치로 토소 사바 나죠.
And so, with the next one is the arms bow, and when it is imagine that it's touched on your navel, and then imagine that the blessings in the form of rays of light comes forth from, that you are blessed with the enlightened qualities of the Medicine Buddha.
단데네 매래 상내네 아니 야 어루라 어루의 소총 아니 다가는 지금 왜 정부 빠도 중디로면 상내로 막 팀데 야 진지로서 사바체.
And then imagine that from the secret place. Imagine that rays of light comes forth from the secret place of Medicine Buddha and dissolves into the secret place of yourself, and thereby think of receiving the blessings of the enlightened activities of the Medicine Buddha.
어야. 디 숭아디 때요메. 숭아디 줄이 얼마? 자 중에 숭아 말 봐. 쉬고 뭐 있잖아. 나디 그게 가서 쉬고 때 쉬고 봐. 쉬고 때 쉬고 다. 전디시야.
So please repeat this mantra of Medicine Buddha, which will be distributed later.
Lama Mela said about Dungi Mela said about Tugane, Nangin Chungde, Kera Lama Mela Saw in Eri, Kesi Mela Sam ever in A, Kadanigalama, Nandi Didama, Timje, Chinilo Sabashia, and Sachi Tuchi, and Jendusha.
And so, whether you have visualized yourself as the Medicine Buddha, or whether you have, or you have visualized the Medicine Buddha on your crown, imagine that this mantra, chains of this mantra of Medicine Buddha, comes from the master's heart, as well as the heart of the Medicine Buddha in the altar generated, front generated Medicine Buddha, comes forth and dissolves, goes down into your heart.
Om Namo Bhagavate.
Om Namo Bhagavate.
Bekhanse.
Bekhanse.
Guru Benduya.
Guru Benduya.
Tawaranzaya.
Tawaranzaya.
Tadagataya.
Tadagataya.
Arahate.
Arahate.
Samyasam.
Samyasam.
Buddhaya.
Buddhaya.
Deyata.
Deyata.
Om Bekhanse.
Om Bekhanse.
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 Maha Bekhanse.
Maha Bekhanse.
Raja Samungate Swaha.
Raja Samungate Swaha.
Tadaya Tibishe. Wada Tinji Melejana Simbri.
So with this, we have completed the permission to practice commission initiation of the Medicine Buddha.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's sama.
Now it's lunchtime.
That's how sama.
a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. And so here, when you take refuge in the three jewels, of course, usually when you talk about the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, the Sangha is referred to as those on the path, the trainee level, the Arya Bodhisattvas and so forth. But Dharma being the qualities that they have developed and the Buddhas have developed. But in this case, the ultimate refuge of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha is actually embodied in the Buddhas. When you become a Buddha, then you have reached the ultimate goal of enlightenment, and you have the ultimate Dharma, and you also are the ultimate Sangha. So in this way, you aspire to reach that goal of the ultimate Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, where these three are together, combined in one person, and for the benefit of all sentient beings.
장수 국자관을 이용해서 더 국자 대접체 라 태무자 장수야 조소시와
So those who are on your chair, just be seated on your chair, but those on the floor, please kneel on your right knee. So
다 전두시야
so please repeat these lines.
상제 처다 소제 초남라
So yes, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly.
다게 지수 집에
By the
초남
accumulations I create through generosity and so forth,
돌아 편지 상제
may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings.
상제 처다 소제
To the
초남라
Buddha, the Dharma, and Supreme Assembly,
전주 봐도 다네
I go for refuge until I'm enlightened.
다게 지수 집에 초남기
By the accumulations I create through generosity and so
돌아
forth,
편지 상제 주버쇼
may I become Buddha to benefit all beings.
다 돌아 편지 상제 주버쇼세 삼대 다네 심지어 탐지기 정도 산지고 봐 토벌 쇼직 토벌 초냠도 심기 다 툼나 심기 봐 정도 마세베 딘제 심기 셔버디 다뒤 남지 채야 냐바베바 초 양주 토야 그 최도 애니 짐버 다운 지 최중송 서버 공부로 서버 딘제기 지단 너는 랑기베 겨와 칸 사셔버 디드 참말로 애니 상지지 고방 토야 애니 균교 쇼스 어다 간다 지 그게 깁스 치세 애들 상지지 고방 대 랑기 있는 것도 저기 있어 와. 다 산제 최근도 터도디 산제가 살아요래. 가서다 산제 파과 대 산제체 긴두체 밀로베 긴두 차디요래. 남주 숨도 체에 숨도 체윤도 로베 긴두체. 다 안데데 가서 담배 전전 좋아해. 점점 산제 야지. 투부 취기 구시지 초전대 토도 칠 수는 시전이 밀르베긴 뒤 차대요리. 디 도규기 최디 다 최근조 토도도 차대요리. 그래서 네 이제잖아요. 간다베 토도기 얘는 산제 최긴두스는 산제랑 살려도가 어다 랑게다 딩원도 저기 인사받지. 다 딩원도 제가 거바디에 돌아 펜실 슬라베인데 얘는 난게태도게 semja 타다 라 펜바두야 그 체도 애능아라 애는 산제체 타르투게 산제체 긴두스부터라 봐 가서다 대대로다 꼬바 말한 게 있는 것도 저기 독신의 셈기በ인다 단 두번인데 sem자들에서 돌아 펜치스 산제로 쇼스로도 샹드되니 그 두배창 장주되니 그다 두버티 게임
And so, with regard to this verse of taking refuge in bodhicitta, the next two lines, which says, by the accumulations I create through generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. So here, what you are saying is, whatever merit you gain through that, or you create through the practices of generosity, ethics, moral ethics, and patience, and so forth, the Bodhisattva practices, may they become a cause for you to become. And so at the end of this third repetition, when you say, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings, in your heart for heart, you should make this pledge that you will, the prayer that you, may you be able to keep this bodhicitta that you have generated. And of course, if possible, you should also think of not causing any decline to this bodhicitta that you are now generating here through this ritual ceremony. So aspiring bodhicitta to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By the accumulations I create through generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Please sit down. So this is, with this you have done generation of aspiring bodhicitta. So if we stopped in the third chapter, so with these two verses, you are, according to Shantidevas' text, you are generating the aspiring bodhicitta as well as taking the bodhisattva vows. The verse starts with just as the previous two gathas, and then also the next verse, verse number 23 and 24.
중립의 공원에 칼라사고 거래. 다 데리가서 가다다 거봐야래라. 현대 거봐야래. 근데 가사들 이야기다 심기 조조의 명령 장네. 다 나와다 로다 decade 너로 장 삼다네. 엔다 계과지래. 다 장주 생기 진요 니신르지 여배이나 장주선로 매번 되버지 다 생기 띵네 애니 즉 장주 셈사디 삼로스타인도 전에 직선로 배 떠나게 되하로 당할 때 그지 여배이나 다 심디니 즉 땡기 종류야 계야 지기나 애니 편요래 다다 땡기 종류 계야 지기야래 다 Lama yeba cheche, ane lama chungliya, ta tegane kyab yudi di semji yudi di sadebe tane, ane lama chungliya semjeba yina, yanchik soso semliya, kwe oda dudunge semji shube yinda sambe, yanchik pagyu leya rochi, chanshi pagyu leya la pendo yore. So dinde yindu zana da derde lama chungne, ane semjiya di yinda.
We talked about it yesterday, and then we also talked about generating bodhicitta and doing the ceremony for it today. Of course, cultivation of bodhicitta takes time, and so what you need to do is think over and over the benefits of bodhicitta and the reasons to cultivate it and all this, and then you should, of course, it always takes time to cultivate bodhicitta, to develop it within yourself. It may take, of course, it has to be developed through days' efforts that you put, through days, months, and years, and then then after having worked hard, then when you actually feel as some kind of have the feeling of bodhicitta, for bodhicitta rather close to you, then in other words, when you are on the onset, the bodhicitta starts to feel close, then you should take part in this kind of ceremony for generating bodhicitta. It can be done in front of statues, images of the Buddha, or it can be done with lamas. But when you do it with lamas, it helps you to feel that you have a witness for you, and it helps to be heedful about keeping the bodhicitta for yourself, to keep with it. So first of all, we will do generation of bodhicitta by reciting the praise, the verse which says, "I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha." Whatever merit I collect, whatever collections I create through generosity and so forth, may they become cause to become for me to become a Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings. So when you say this verse, the first two lines show taking refuge. And so with regard to taking refuge, you are not taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha so that you would have a higher rebirth, nor are you taking refuge to reach mere nirvana, to become just an arhat, but you are taking refuge until you become enlightened, a Buddha.
다게 진소 집에 처남기 rollo 편저 사진 로저 사디 다 심기가 사디 다 금들 멤버 심기야디 식디 참로 멤버 심기야인다. 데 그래서라면 아니 다게 다 대대비